Tree Talking Time is brought to you by Conkey's Outdoors. Get all your hound hunting needs at conkeys.com. Welcome to Tree Talking Time, where we talk all things tree dogs, from the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game. Need reliable housing for your animals? Animal Housing Solutions in Mayo, Florida builds custom coops, kennels, and shelters that are strong, durable, and designed with your animal's comfort in mind. Whether you need a large-scale kennel or a small custom chicken coop, they've got you covered. Quality craftsmanship, great service, and solutions built to last. That's the Animal Housing Solution promise. Check them out at Animal Housing Solutions on Facebook. Animal Housing Solutions, where your animals come first. Your dogs deserve the very best, and that's exactly what Elite Nutrition Canine Products delivers. Packed with premium ingredients and backed by science, their formulas are designed to boost energy, support joint health, and keep coats shiny and strong. Whether you've got a working dog, a hunting partner, or just a loyal best friend, Elite Nutrition gives them the fuel they need to thrive. Don't settle for ordinary. Choose the nutrition your dog deserves. Find Elite Nutrition Canine Products today and give your dog the elite edge. Go to shopeliteglobal.com and use the code TREE10 on your next purchase.
Started with my uncle. First time he took me hunting, I was 3, 4, something like that.
Okay.
So it was even hard to get around in the woods.
Yeah.
But I still remember little glitches of that, and enjoyed that. Later on, he hooked me up with my first leopard. He knew a fellow that had an old dog that went back to some of his stuff, and a long-haired leopard.
Okay.
And I got him. He was my first dog that would consistently run and tree coons, but he
Quick side note. Where do you think the long hair came from?
Back then, I thought differently than I think now. He came with some of the southern blood, and they had some different shepherds and stock dogs and stuff like that were, I believe, entered into the breed down there.
Yeah, I would agree with that opinion. That's why I was curious.
The Bennett's Black Elk blood, my understanding was Wagner Black and Tans and stock dogs.
Okay.
That's where that came from. So I've been told anyways. And,
okay,
and
I never heard that.
I believe there's something to that. At that time, I was just happy to have a dog I could take out and run tree coon with consistently.
Yeah.
Seen more of them back then than you do now.
Yeah.
Didn't see a whole lot of them as long-haired as he was, but heavy-haired anyways.
I think a lot of that, like the remnants of that, kind of died off with Dennis Pruitt.
I think so.
Like he was the one. He was the only one I think that was really holding on to those long-haired dogs.
Yeah, he liked them a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything against him. It wasn't what I was really looking for.
Yeah.
Causes too many problems. But that old dog, it was funny. I would hunt him one night, bring him home. He would just be full of burrs. He'd lay out there in front of his box in the sun during the day. You go out to get him at night to go hunting. He'd have every one of those burrs out of him, ready to go. Yep. That's
pretty. At least he was able to get him out.
Yep.
You didn't have to sit there and.
And then when he got older, I sheared him his last couple summers because the heat was so hard on him. And he was the prettiest blue leopard spotted male you ever want to see. I mean, it was.
And that long hair, he probably looked black.
Brown.
Brown. Okay.
Brown. Yeah, brownish red. Yeah. But decent old dog. He taught me a lot, and I kind of learned back then that every kid wants a puppy.
Yeah.
And Dad wants to get him a puppy,
And every kid needs an old dog.
That's right. An old dog to train them. Something they can. It's like going fishing. Fishing ain't much fun if you ain't catching anything.
Exactly.
And you get a puppy. It can be a year and a half before you see anything out of them consistently. And that's a lot to expect out of a young kid, especially.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy at Automox here just the other day, and that's what he said. He's like, I kind of burned my son out. He goes, as I was getting into this, he goes, my son was little, and he's like, so I'm trying to train a dog. Meanwhile, I'm dragging a 4-year-old around with me because he's like my wife worked nights, so he's like we were hunting the nights that she was working. He's like, I think I burned him out when he was real little because he's like we weren't seeing nothing.
Yep, exactly. Next dog I got was a female out of Billy Styles' Ringo dog and Sherman Borders' Yellow Bell female.
Mm-hmm.
I got to hunt with Bell up in northern Indiana one night. She kind of set the tone. Mm-hmm. She was a nice dog, and I enjoyed hunting that night. Fortunately, the young female I got, she was one of those dogs you could take her out one night and she'd look like $1 million, and the next 3 nights she'd look like a smuck. And just didn't work out. I got her from Dale Bennett. Dale was a good man. He was a leopard ambassador for sure. Friendly, fine and nice guy you ever want to meet. I don't know how hard of a hunter he was, but he had the old Abe dog was his pride and joy. And hunted with Abe. Abe was a nice dog. Enjoyed him a lot. Then I kind of...
what time for people... Well, first of all, how about you introduce yourself, Perry?
My name's Perry Lambert. Live in South Charleston, Ohio. Small farming community. Hunted these leopards for close to 50 years now.
That's what I was going to say. So what time frame was this when you were getting into these dogs?
Those was probably in the mid to late 70s.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I know this because me and you, we've been talking old pedigrees a lot here lately. So you've been picking your brain a lot.
Yep. I guess a few years later, I got hooked up with some of the Midwest guys out there.
Okay.
I had the female, I called her Pepper Shaker.
Mm-hmm.
She was a well-started dog when I got her. She'd been bred twice already to Boyce's Charlie Chan.
Mm-hmm.
And those dogs made some nice ones, real nice ones. There's a lot of that blood left out there now. But I hunted her pretty hard, got her straightened out. I've always been fortunate. I'm not a fella that has a lot of luck taking puppies.
Okay.
From beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a nice started dog.
I'm right there with you. I'm not a puppy man.
No, it's a gift. It's a gift. And I know a few guys that have it, but it's not me.
Yeah.
I got her straightened out and made a nice dog out of her. I had a nice female that I got from Glenn Smith out in, he lives out in Missouri, and she was a nice dog, and I was like off to the races. You know, for years I hunted strictly females.
Okay.
I didn't want a male dog. My theory was female comes in heat twice a year. Male dog's in heat every time you take him out of the kennel. You know?
And also, and I've said it on this podcast before, the thing I like about a female is you get a good one, the opportunities are endless.
Right.
Because you can take her to whatever stud dog you want.
Yeah.
You get a good male. All right, now I've got to promote this male to then make somebody else want to breed to him.
Right.
You know.
And with the leopards, that's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Because of the geographics of the situation and the distance between the next availability and heat cycles, and guys got to work and things like that. I will have to say I was never one to breed old ready to old handy. I'd done a lot of traveling all over the country. If I seen something I liked and I wanted, I'd go get some of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd take the time.
I think that's what it takes to have good dogs, regardless of the breed. You know, I've had a lot of people like, do you know a breeder in whatever state I'm in? I'm like, who cares what state you're in? Find what you want in a dog and go find a breeder that's producing that. I don't care if you got to either drive or, across the country or pay a hauler. It's like, get what fits you, like not what
you're going to be happy with.
What's available.
Yeah, what you're going to enjoy, what you're going to be happy with. Back at that time, I'd actually got with Bob Walters. I was considering breeding Pepper back to her father, which was Spuds.
Okay.
And talked with Bob several times on the phone before I met him. And he had talked me into considering going with Black Prancer instead of breeding Blackie, her uncle.
Okay.
They were both Midwest bred, and drove out there. It was summertime. It was hotter than the dickens. I was going to meet him in St. Louis at his work site, and it had been so hot he'd left the dog at home, and he was back at his place. So I drove up there, and we tried to get him bred to her and just didn't have no luck. And Bob said, if you've got use for him, take him home with you. Keep him as long as you need him. Maybe you can get some pups out of him, But he said, at this point, I'm not hunting and I'm not doing much. So it'd be to everybody's advantage if you take him. So I brought old Blackie home. Took him up to Galaxy Genetics and we got him checked out and everything. And he didn't have any good semen.
Okay.
So a gentleman up there had a Leroy Perry, who helped me out a lot over the years, had a supplement. It's a homemade supplement that the Amish had made up, and he said, "Take this and try it. Give it a try." So
we know what was in this supplement.
We do not. It was in a brown paper bag. So anyhow, I brought the old dog home, and my youngest son was about 16 at the time, and him and his buddies fell in love with that old dog, and they hunted the hair off of him that summer and early fall. And long story short, I ended up getting 3 litters out of him.
Nice.
So that kind of got me going the direction where I wanted. That's I bred him to Batgirl out of Rex Laker stock. She was a sweet talk bred dog, and that's where Jet came from.
Okay.
Black Magic. And I sold Jet as a puppy. Dan Noble had him. Some boys out in Missouri hunted him for him a little while, and he was just lightly started. And I went with one of the leopard hunts and seen him and hunted with him and liked him and talked Dan out of him.
Nice.
Dan hooked me up with him, so hunted him for a long time, a lot of years. Got a lot of pleasure. I always tell everybody he's not the best dog I ever owned, but I never owned one I enjoyed turning loose any more than him.
Yeah.
He was all business, no trouble, well-rounded dog. When he was a pup, I'd tell guys, I said, I think that dog, when I'd cut him loose, he circles that woods and finds the coldest track. And that's the one he goes back and starts wallering. So it took a while for me to get him where he could handle those kind of tracks. And he was capable. He was capable of handling those kind of tracks. The year I hunted him over at Autumn Oaks, me and him both, we hunted 30 nights straight, and it was hot and it was dry.
Yeah.
And they were calling for rain that weekend, and I said, man, I hope it don't rain. I don't want no rain. My dog can run that dry stuff. It doesn't bother him, And actually went over there, drew a cast, Walker female, a black and tan dog. It was a 3-dog cast. And the last track we ran, the Walker dog opened one time on it. Nothing else ever even opened on the track. And he carried the track and treed the coon and really shined.
Yeah.
He really looked good. But me and him were both in shape at that time. So it took hard hunting to get him there and get him ready and get me ready too. Yeah. So since then I've kind of slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't, I remember seeing, because your kennel name is Miami Valley. I remember seeing Miami Valley, like, when I first started looking at leopards, when I first started getting into dogs in general. Like, I was like end of high school, so that was like 05 to 06, 07 when I was in high school, graduated in 08. And then I kind of got into mountain curs and treeing curs at first, just because that's what the guy that I hunted with had. But I always liked the leopard dogs. So I kind of kept an eye on them early on, and I remember seeing Miami Valley. And then all of a sudden, when I finally got into leopard dogs, I hadn't seen him. I didn't know, and I didn't know you, so I didn't know. And all of a sudden, about a year ago, here's Perry Lambert on Facebook, just starts posting away, and I'm like, who's this guy? And obviously, I knew you had some knowledge because you start dropping all these old pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
So what happened in there? Like,
work. I got kind of burnt out. I was the president of the Leopard Association for, 6 or 8 years. I was involved heavily with bringing the leopard hounds as the 7th hound breed.
Okay.
And that was a pretty stressful time.
There was a very turmoil in the breed at that time.
Yeah. And there's always been turmoil in our breed. It's always been there. But I was in the middle of this one, so it really stressed me.
For people that don't know leopard history, you had the American cur breeders that turned into the American leopard cur breeders, and then that changed hands multiple times. And then at one point, you had the Leopard Tree Dog Association because people got mad at the American leopard cur breeders, and then they merged back. Well, like the LTD still existed, but basically everyone went back to American Leopard Cur Breeders Association. Then UKC started registering as a cur breed, and then they moved them from curs to hounds.
Right.
So it's like this whole and like I said, I've talked to numerous people, and it's like it seemed like every time the ownership of the ALCBA changed hands, somebody along the way would get mad and leave, or
Exactly. If you're a coon hunter and you wear your feelings on your sleeve, your feelings are going to get hurt.
Yeah.
But you can't do that, in my opinion. And what I was hoping for was consistency.
Mm-hmm.
An association that we could work with.
Yeah.
And I seen UKC as that, and I worked with the board of directors and the officers, tried to keep the general membership involved as much as we could. We tried to send out a newsletter twice a year, 3 times a year, whatever we had time. We're all working people.
Yeah.
We're all working people. We all had kids. We had grandkids and things like that. So, dogs can't be all
100%.
inclusive, but we tried that. And I still don't know if it was the right move or not, but it was a move, and we made it.
So what was like the rationale from going from curs to hounds, in your opinion?
Basically, most leopards, and they had what they called an appendix registered leopard.
Mm-hmm.
That was what they got when they were born. They were puppy papers.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a permanent registration paper. To be permanently registered, a dog had to hunt with 3 other people, and at least one of them had to be a member of the association. They had to run and tree a coon, had to be open on the track. So we're talking about open mouth dogs.
Yep.
I don't consider them a full-blown hound.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have characteristics, cur-style characteristics. They're a more social dog.
Mm-hmm.
They want to pack hunt.
Yeah.
They'll handle. They've got a lot of heart.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the best leopards I ever hunted with maybe didn't have the best abilities, but they hunted with heart.
Yeah.
They put it all out there, and they were there to please you. When you walked into that tree and they seen you, that just, you could see it. You could see it in their eyes. Had a lot of good conversations with my black dog sitting on my tailgate,
Yeah.
He just, I swear he understood what you was talking to him about,
Mm-hmm.
The old Charlie dog was the same way. He understood the English language. I'd seen him do things that just amazed me.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't anything he was trained to do. I'd tell him to do something the first time and he'd do it,
Stuff that a dog shouldn't know how to do.
Exactly.
Or understand.
Exactly.
No, but just going back to that move, I've heard the same thing, and I kind of jokingly call leopards that the breed's stuck in purgatory. Like, they're not curs, they're not hounds. They're kind of this in between,
Yeah.
And it depends on what line of dogs you get, which they favor, and especially in the looks department. And it's like, and I've been told by some other people that were involved, a big reason they wanted to, the cur people didn't like them because they were open, but then the hound people don't like them because they're quirky, or, they're not, you can't go out there and when one does something wrong, smack in the head, or at least a lot of leopards, like they turn off. It's like a cur dog.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird in between.
Yeah.
And that's why even to today, I joke when people are like, "Oh, you got leopard hounds?" I'm like, or people say leopard curs. I'm like, whatever you want to call them. I said, I got leopards.
I still catch myself calling them leopard curs.
Yeah.
I had a boss that called them hounds, and I corrected him for 15 years. Every time he'd say that, I'd say, nope, they're a cur dog.
Yeah.
They're a cur dog, I think the big difference I see is they can't take abuse. physical abuse. Most of them, 99% of them anyhow.
Yeah.
And there's a misconception that they're a hot-nosed dog. And I was actually hunting in a pleasure cast one night. Our local club, after the meeting, we would always have a non-sanctioned competition hunt, just for guys like me who weren't experienced, to get some experience, you know. And I was hunting with 3 guys that I knew well, 2 Grand Night champions, a Grand Night Blue Dog, Grand Night Walker Dog, and another good Walker Dog. And I was hunting old Blackie that night, and we turned loose, and we're walking up through a cornfield, and the 2 walkers and the blue tick came busting past us, and were gone. And pretty soon we heard them open way behind us. They were almost out of hearing already. And my old black dog come up past us, old Blackie, and opened right there just ahead of us. And the blue tick fella said, "What's your dog running?" So Johnny, I believe he's running a coon. Johnny said, "Well, these 3 good dogs just went up through there, and none of them smelt that track." And I said, "Well, he's got a pretty good nose on him, Johnny." And he worked over through that woods, and probably a 15-minute track back through that woods, and sat down and treed. And the other dogs, they were getting out of hearing. And I said, "Well, Johnny, I'll go get my dog and catch up with you guys." He said, "Nope." He said, "I'm going with you." He said, "I want to see what this old dog's got." We went in there, and he's treed on a big old oak tree, and laying up in that tree is a big old coon sound asleep.
Yeah.
You know, they got the nose.
Yeah.
They got that. They're like anything else. Not every one of them has that nose. But there's a lot of leopards with good nose, and where they shine, maybe they don't got the nose, but they usually have a pretty good brain on them.
Yeah. Actually, I was just talking to a guy, 2 days ago, and we were talking about that, like, nose, and it's like, you know, are there dogs that have a colder nose or a hotter nose, or is it the amount of brains they have to use their nose?
I believe it's a little of both.
So,
I believe it's a little of both. I enjoy a dog that can wind a track, trees layups. My pepper shaker dog was about as good as any. She could drift a track. They talk about fast track dogs. I never really considered my dogs fast track dogs, but now I've got some age on me, and my way of thinking has changed a little. I've seen Pepper Shaker in beans this time of year run down young coons. She opened according to the track. Yeah. And if she's running pretty open mouth, it's a hot track. Okay. And if she shuts up on that track, she's going to catch that coon on the ground. She's humping. She's got one thing on her mind, and it's catching that coon. And it got to where I just didn't hunt her when the young coon were on, because she was going to slaughter him.
She's just hurting on your coon population.
No reason to, you know. But she was, and a good layup dog. A pretty locate, a nice tree dog mouth on her. Over her life, I bred her too many times, but she was the kind of dog I always said that I could breed to a poodle, and you were going to get tree dogs out of her.
Finding a good reproducing female is like a gold mine in the tree dog world. I shouldn't say hounds, because it's cur dogs too. You know, you can find a good male to reproduce, but finding good females, that's
a gold mine.
Yeah,
it's a gold mine, and then not from the dollar value.
But just from like
genetics. And everything. She was bred to Charlie 3 times. Those dogs, they just speak for themselves. Everybody knows about them.
That's where I've seen her the most that I can remember in pedigrees.
And I actually bred her to Dave Cox's Rufus dog. And I'll be honest with you, I like those dogs better than I like the Charlie dogs.
Okay.
Better looking dogs, first of all, tighter made, smaller made, good mouths, good tree dogs, no nonsense, just nice dogs. I bred her to Jet, had some pretty good luck there, had some nice dogs come out of that litter. The trick is getting them into the hands of people who are going to do something with them.
For sure.
You know, Unfortunately, I bred her one time to Dave Bray's buck dog, and on paper, I really liked that cross. But I only had one female out of that litter that really shined.
Mm-hmm.
And I called her Cry. I liked her a lot. But there again, how many of them got in the hands of people who are going to really give them a chance?
But it's funny, like sometimes there's, like on paper, what you think's going to work doesn't always work.
It doesn't.
And then things that you're like, that probably won't work, but we'll try it, you know, and it does.
How many old timers have you talked to that, I had a hound and she got bred by the old collie dog? And
now those turn out every time.
Yeah.
Now they don't always reproduce. That's the big problem with them.
Yep.
But I've heard too many times that those work.
Yep.
But I think if you really boil down leopard history, I'm like you already said, like from Dale Bennett's dogs, like the rumor is that they were black and tans crossed with stock dogs. Like, I've heard that.
That was O'Neill Bennett.
Oh, O'Neill Bennett. Sorry,
O'Neill Bennett. Yeah, but I don't want to get that wrong.
Sorry, had Bennett.
Yeah,
in my mind. But I've heard that from a lot of people. Is like, or if you look at things and it's just like, where'd this come from? Like, that long hair. I'm sure there's something Australian Shepherd Collie, something in there, like
the brindle dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Had to come from someplace.
Yeah.
And I think you've done some work, and I've done some work, and we've documented some information of where some of that come from.
There's some plot dog in there.
Yeah, there's some plot dogs in there. Yeah.
Like I said, I jokingly, and I've told several people this now. For anybody that doesn't know, I've said it multiple times on the podcast, but I've got a litter of puppies right now. They're 3/4 leopard, quarter plot. And I'm like, they're just as much leopard as a lot of leopards.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at leopard history.
I met a gentleman, John Lookup was his name, and he was a bear hunter. And he was an outfitter, or I'm not sure if that's the correct term, but that's what he did for a living.
Yeah.
And met him over at Galaxy Genetics, and man, he was an interesting guy to talk to, and he actually had one of his plot dogs over there getting collected.
Mm-hmm.
And the old Kerr style looking dog.
Yeah.
He would raise 3 litters a year, keep all of them himself,
none
of them left. And by the time he got ready to start bear hunting them, out of those 3 litters, he said, if it's a good year, he said, I'll have 5 or 6.
Oh, wow.
That make the grade.
Mm-hmm.
Make the grade. He just kept calling and kept calling and kept calling. But his dogs were the cur-looking type of plot.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what, if the opportunity would present itself nowadays that I could go back and breed to that little plot dog, I'd take me as good a leopard as a female as I could find, and that's what I'd do. I'd try that.
Like I said, I like my half plot, half leopard. He's the best pup I've ever raised.
Yep.
I've had a better dog than him, but I didn't raise her.
Yeah. But there was a man that he'd hunted with everybody and everything you could ever heard of, probably. He was a man that if he heard about a dog that was top of the line, he said he went and hunted with them.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to see what they had to offer and everything. And I think he was the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was the real deal.
Conkeys Outdoors is proud to be a sponsor of Tree Talking Time. Family, hunting, tradition is the Conkeys motto. They understand the importance of passing down the tradition of hound hunting. They are a family-owned business that treats you like family. They also understand the importance of having the gear you need when you need it. Conkeys carries everything for your next hunt, and it ships to your door quick. They also offer great warranties on all tracking systems and financing options. Check them out at conkeys.com. You can also use the code TreeTalkingTime5 in all caps to save as well.
So you said after you see a Jet, Jet, and so where'd you go from Jet? When was that? When did you have Jet?
Let's see. He would have been born back in. I hunted him in Autumn Oaks in 2008, and he was 7 years old. So that was early 2000, right around in there. And I hunted him. He was 14 when he passed. Yeah, and actually, his daddy was 14 years old when he sired that litter that Jet was in. So that was pretty rare. I had a guy, I had a litter of pups with me over in Illinois, and at Fillmore Lake at one of the leopard hunts, and he told me, he said, I don't want nothing to do with them pups. I said, well, that's fine, whatever suits you. He said, there's no way a 14-year-old dog sired those. So, well, I'm not twisting your arm.
Yeah.
So, but that was a nice litter pup. Sherman Borders had a female pup out of that litter that he really liked and hunted for quite a few years, and there was some nice ones out of that litter. And I think there was 7 pups, 5 bobtailed, and each bobtail was a different length.
Okay.
Yep. So it was, and the
where'd the bobtail come in from, like, into your line?
that was it came from Sweet Talk Blood. The little female I had came from Rex Laker's line of stuff, and he had gotten a shot from the Provines of some Sweet Talk Blood. She was a nice little dog, real nice put together, just real sharp looking little dog. And I bred her to Jet, or to Blackie, and got that litter of pups, and that's
Gotcha.
She was bobtailed.
I was just curious because, like, I like a bobtail dog, and you don't see near as many of them today.
No.
And that's why I was curious as to where it came from in your line.
Yep.
And so, I was fortunate to talk to somebody. He didn't want to come on the podcast, but he told me a lot of, like, the history on the Sweet Talk dogs, and gave me pictures and stuff of them. So Sweet Talk was, for people that don't know, a red-colored bobtailed, looked like a cur dog, you know?
Yeah.
Well, her mother is supposedly a running walker, and her sire is just some old cur dog. And like I said, I got pictures of both these dogs that are supposedly her parents. But if you look at her and what she threw, I mean, I can believe it.
They were sharp.
They were
Sharp-looking dogs.
But and that was early days of the leopard breed, so, like, you had to single register these crossed up dogs. I mean, so, like,
they had to come from something.
Yeah, like, so they didn't just fall out of the sky as a breed. So it's like, I like finding out what's being added in, because I just find it interesting. I was telling somebody that the other day, you know, and he was kind of telling me some places he thought there was other crosses that were rumored back in the early days. And stuff. So
I tell you, I enjoy talking with Rex Bowers. And I've kind of rekindled here lately, and we talk just like you and I are, where this stuff come from, and to be honest with you, he is a wealth of knowledge.
Yes,
he has firsthand experience, and he has researched and documented a lot of stuff.
He needs to write a book.
He does. Yeah, and Rex has shared some documents with me that I kind of a little apprehensive to throw out there. But Rex had firsthand knowledge.
Oh,
He was down in the middle of it. He was right in the fire, and he was a young man just hunting hard and wanting good dogs. Was what he was wanting, and that was his priority, and still is. His priority is to put a good dog out there, and there are guys hunting his lines of stuff, big game and things like that. He's stood the test of time. He's done the work. Like
my buddy Wayne that I've had on the podcast, Wayne Hensley, all his dogs, his foundation stock came from Rex, and so all of his stuff is Dutchman Creek Sandbred. He's owned them for 30 years, but you boil it back down to where it all came from. It all came from Rex.
And to go back to the Sweet Talk stuff, I think Fred French had that stuff probably back in the 40s.
Okay.
I don't think it just popped up when the Leopards started. I think that's what he'd been breeding and hunting for a number of years,
Okay.
But those were sharp-looking dogs. A lot of fire. A lot of fire.
What I find interesting is looking at a lot of old pictures is there weren't near as many black and tans, colored leopards. There was a lot of red or yellow or, some variation of that.
Yeah.
Which you're starting to see more of that today, but for a long time, you didn't see many red or yellow colored dogs, or even red merles, and black and tans. I feel like you see more of them than anything else.
Yeah.
Where back then it was like, I'm not saying there was obviously leopard merle dogs, but there was just a lot of red as well.
Used to see more black with brindle trim also.
Okay.
Used to see more of those, and most of what I've seen of those come out of the southern dogs, a lot of them that carried that came from O'Neill Bennett and the Abundance Buck and Black Owl strain was my experience with that. Might as well touch base on this. Didn't see any solid blacks.
Yeah.
I never seen a solid black.
And everybody will tell you that came from Jug.
That's true, and a lot of those guys will tell you it came from the Black Diamond dogs.
Yeah, which a Black Diamond, from what I've always heard, was a Stevens leopard cross.
I've heard that, and I don't deny that may be for that locale.
Okay.
But my understanding, there was a region out in Missouri where they bred a Black Diamond dog.
Okay.
And they weren't supposedly Stevens. I can't say for sure what they are, but I've seen documents that have Black Diamond dogs in them prior to Jug.
Yeah.
Prior to Jug,
Oh yeah.
And even from those strains, I didn't personally see any black puppies or hear of anybody getting solid black out of them. So it hit a little differently. The Jug strain or whatever.
Yeah. Well, also you see a lot more just like gray and black with no sort of tan trim out of the Jug line of dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. You would see that with some of the other strains too, but not as predominant as they are with the Jug strain.
Yeah.
I stayed away from the Jug strain for a long time. And when I got the little May female out here, I got her from a neighbor boy who got her as a puppy at a hunt and wasn't doing nothing with her. And he knew I liked leopards, and I had an old red-bone female out there that I wasn't doing too much with. And we done some dog trading. And I'll be honest with you, if I knew how she was bred, I probably would have went the other direction. But in this case, being blind was a good thing.
Yeah.
At that time, I needed something to hunt, wanted something to hunt, had to bug real hard, and got her. And she's the way she's bred, she's loaded up with everything.
She's got like all kinds of lines.
She's got
like
the Scout line. She's got Sweet Talk. She's got the Midwest. She's got Rex Bauer stuff. She's got Bennett's Buck and Black Owl. She's got what was the strain that jumped up out west there for a little while? It was a single registered dog out there, but anyhow, she's got Shiner in her. She's got everything in her.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that little dog. I find I have more patience now. And with her, I started hunting her with, I had a pretty good old blue dog for a couple years, and liked old Joe really well. Treated a lot of coons with him. He was more of a leopard-style dog than he was a hound. Handled good, quick tree dog. I don't know how many times I cut him into a woods, and before I could get my lead strapped around my neck, he's treed somewhere and got a coon.
Yeah.
And I started her with him. And then he was getting some age on him, and he had a quirk where he just went tree crazy. And she's smart enough that she soon lost interest in him. She wouldn't honor him at all. I thought, well, there's no sense in hunting them together anymore, so I hunted her by herself. And it took a little bit of time, but by the end of that first season, shortly after that first season, she was running and treeing her own coon and doing a nice job for me. I had a little trouble with her. She would cast, go hunting for a while, and check back in and then want to stick with me. And I tried to shoo her away and get her to go, and wasn't working, so I figured out if I snapped the lead on her and took 2 steps and unsnapped her again, she was gone.
Just that little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. It's not going to work in a night hunt, but it didn't really bother me too much.
Yeah.
And then it got to where that wasn't working, and she wanted to hang around, so I thought, well, I'm going to switch you. And I got a switch, Didn't beat her. I just switched her a few times. That wasn't going to work.
Yep.
That wasn't going to work. So I'm like, what the heck am I going to do here? You know, so I got to where I could just speak to her, pat her on the side a couple times, and poof, she's gone again.
Yeah.
And getting through the country is not a problem with her. She'll get 600-800 yards without any trouble by herself, you know, without anything. A lot of guys that won't suit. In this area, it suits me just fine. You know, it's like those guys who are hunting the mountains and need them to go 1,500 yards. I don't need them to go 1,500 yards. I do around here. You're going to get them killed eventually. It's just,
you have some beautiful country here.
I'm fortunate. I've lived here a long time. Know most all the farmers and have privileges from a lot of them. And there's no coon hunters anymore.
Yeah.
There's one boy across the field, and his dad, pretty good-sized farmer, and I hunt a lot of his ground. And he has a red bone that's a little bit ill. So we have an agreement where I contact him before I turn loose on any of his ground to make sure we ain't going to cross paths and have problems or anything. I can live with that. That's not a hard thing to do, you know.
Exactly.
I hear these other guys talking about how hard it is to find ground and fighting with the deer hunters and one thing and then another. And I'm fortunate I don't have to deal with a whole lot of that, you know, and I that's going to be the demise of hunting.
Yeah, 100%.
All different styles of hunters can't work together. And they're going to divide and conquer.
Yep.
The antis are going to beat us one of these days, you know, it's going to happen. And I just hope it's long after me and my grandkids are done with it, because I got some grandkids that enjoy hunting with me. A lot of them are young yet, but they still enjoy going out in the woods at night. And I've got a 16-year-old grandson. He hunts with me pretty regular during the winter months. Got a grandson up in Michigan. He'd hunt with me every night if he lived close enough. And it's always, let's just make one more drop. Let's just make one more drop, you know, with him. And May is his baby.
Okay.
I mean, and she thinks the world of him too, you know, so that it's nice to have a dog you can handle when you got a half a dozen kids out there with you or something.
Yeah,
it's
for sure
nice. I've always kind of trained my dogs a little different. I want them to be able to handle. I was hunting with the boasters, and a group of us had a leopard hunt out in Illinois. We were hunting around Dean's and Bill's property there, and they'd had a lot of rain, and we were walking in waters about all night. They treed across the little ditch that normally you would just one step across and you'd never get wet, but it was just rolling and raging. We could see the dogs treat on this little island, and we could see the coon up in the tree. And Bill's like, it's 2 miles down this ditch to the bridge. We got to cross, come back 2 miles, then do that back to get back to the truck. He said, man, that's rough. I said, well, you think they'd come back across if we had a dog on this side, you know? He said, it's worth trying. So I hollered at Jet. He came off a tree, swam the stream, came back across, and I put him on a tree. All the other dogs came back across and honored him. You know, saved us a lot of walking that night. But he was a dog that can handle like that. I trained mine to walk behind me when I'm in brush.
I could get my dog to come back to me, but that's with a tone button. I don't think I could get my dog to come back, especially off of a tree with 4 other dogs or 3 other dogs, without a tone button.
Yep.
Like I said, tone button, I could get him. Yep. But without that tone button, I don't think I could get him to do that. So I commend you on that. That's a good handle.
I'll be honest with you. May out here, she handles like a dream. I don't have to. I'm getting old enough now. I don't like to pile through that brush and everything if I don't have to. And if she's 20 feet away on a tree and there's a bunch of briars and rose briars and stuff that I don't want to go to, and I can see her, usually I just speak to her and she'll come over and sit down next to me. My buddy, we were hunting just down the road. Been quite a few years ago. I was hunting Jet and he was hunting his big walker dog. He had a big 100-pound walker dog. He was a nice dog. And they're treed. They got the coon. And it's probably 15 yards of briars, rose briars and stuff to get to the dogs, you know. Summertime. It's hot. The bugs are bad, you know. And he's like, well, just got to get the dog, So big military guy, he wades through that brush, gets in there and gets his dog. 15, 20 minutes later, he's out of the briars and he's back out. He's bloody, he's sweating, he said, I've had enough. Let's go to the house, He said, are you going to get your dog? I said, yeah, I'm going to get him. So I hollered Jet, and he come over and sit down next to me, and I snapped the lead on him, and I said, man, you need to do that with your dogs. Yeah. But I like a dog with a handle.
Oh, of course. That's the number one thing for me. There's a reason I like cur dogs.
Yep.
I like the brains. And I think you're seeing more and more of that in hounds. And I think also with Garmins, it makes it significantly easier. Like I said, mine are all tone broke. I mean, I can get them back with a tone button.
Yeah.
I don't have quite the handle you do with just calling them, but
now I run mine with a tracking system,
mm-hmm.
and it's the Garmin. I think it's 500 plus, 550 plus, whatever it is. Just it's the dummy proof one. It just points the arrow and tells you how far, and it'll vibrate, it'll shock, and it'll tone.
Mm-hmm.
I have used a tone button. I'll be honest with you. If I had to go out there and shock my dog right now for $1 million, I couldn't do it. I don't know how. I've never had to shock. I've never used it. Technology and me don't get along. And the tone does everything I need it to do,
mm-hmm.
And she's got brains enough that I've never had the need to shock her.
Yeah.
There's going to be a day I'm going to wish I had that.
Well, you do have it.
We knew how to use that.
You knew how to use it.
Yeah. But that was another thing that I went back to leopard days this year.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't hunted in a competition hunt in at least 15 years, maybe close to 20, and decided I was going to take her over there and give her opportunity, and done well the first night. But we're back to the clubhouse afterwards, and they come around and told me that I'd won the hunt. I was a little bit shocked with that, and I made the statement that, well, that's pretty nice. I got my first place out of the way. Because back in the day, you had to have a first place plus 100 points to make a night champion. Now I guess you just got to have 5 cast wins. But they were all kind of laughing at me, And they said, what are you talking about? So I got my first place. That's the hard one to get, when you want to make a night champion. They said, no, it's not like that anymore. And I think the last hunt I hunted on, I think you could carry your phone, but I don't think you were allowed to take it out if time was in.
Okay.
And we cut loose over there, and everybody's grabbing their Garmins and watching their Garmins.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't know that.
Well.
And I still had no desire to grab mine, but.
In that cast, it was a little advantageous to you that a couple other dogs grabbed a possum right off the bat.
That helped me. And that's the big part of any hunt you're in. You got to get in coon, and you got to have some luck.
Yeah. And then Smoke took some minus because he got in a hole or in the ground or whatever. And 6 caught him. And because otherwise, well, then again, we might not have called timeout and moved, but Smoke treated coon, May treated coon.
Yep.
But he took some minus. You didn't. May kept her nose clean.
Yep. She's pretty good at that. She don't make a lot of mistakes.
And half your competition
was sitting in the truck.
Because they treat old possum.
But that was an enjoyable cast. And
it was.
I really, truly enjoyed meeting all those young guys over there and sitting around talking after the cast was very enjoyable.
And if you haven't, as far as listeners go, if you have not, head over to the Tree Talking Media YouTube channel. You can watch that cast. It is Leopard Days 2025. So the first Leopard Days video.
Yep. Yeah.
Is it?
Second one, I think.
Second one. Okay, I don't know.
At least in the order I seen them.
It's one of the Leopard Days videos. I think you're right. I think it is the second one. Yeah.
But no, I've enjoyed your podcast.
Appreciate it.
Doug DeRosset, his. I really enjoy that. Rex Bowers, I enjoy his. Wayne Hensley. Some of the plot guys I've listened to. This technology really helps a lot of stuff. It's like sitting in the room with somebody listening,
and
it's.
I had So I actually just re-aired it not too long ago. A guy from Idaho that was 90 in his 90s, and he passed away not long after we did the podcast. And his grandson called me and was like, "I really appreciate that podcast." He's like, "I've listened to that thing." He goes, "I couldn't tell you how many times." He goes, just to be able to get on there and hear his voice and hear him talk about his dogs a little bit. And he's like, "I'm heading to the mountain." He goes, I put that on just because I want to hear him talk about his dogs a little bit. He goes, "I could recite it word for word by now," but he's like,
Yeah.
just to be able to hear his voice.
Yeah, we've talked about trying to work out something with my uncle, and there's a guy that I hunted hard with for a lot of years. Him and his hunting buddy hunted together for over 65 years.
Wow.
And some of the stories, and that's the kind of stuff that at least inspired me.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows what other young kids, because this coon hunting stuff is a dying breed.
Yeah.
There's just too many things for kids to do out there, and I kind of have a little different mindset. I've got a lot of grandkids, and I've told my oldest son dozens of times, your kids, you've got to find something for them to do, because if you don't, they're going to find something to do, and it may not be what you want.
Yeah.
And he lives up in Michigan. He lives out on the gravel roads in a farming community, not too much unlike this area around here. Access to a lot of woods and things like that, and those kids love the woods. They're in the woods all the time. They'll go to the woods by themselves, and into stuff. We can go up and we can go fishing. We can go coon hunting. We can hunt fish and worms at night with night crawlers at night. We can dig fish and worms in the daytime. They're happy with anything like that. But that's the trick with these kids is spending time with them and giving them some values and showing them there's other things to do other than those video games.
Yep.
Now, having said that, my 12-year-old grandson has got into the video games just recently, and he enjoys the heck out of them.
It's inevitable in today's world. That's just too much in their face. But like my kids, they're 8 and 5. We try to limit it. The system they have it's portable. They've never taken it anywhere. It took to our TV, and they know it's portable. They're like, can we take it to here or there? No, took to the TV. It doesn't need to go anywhere with us.
Yep. Yep.
So,
but my youngest son, our oldest 12-year-old grandson up there is quite a fisherman. He has caught more big bass.
Nice.
At 12 years old than I have in my lifetime, and he's a little bit different from some boys. He loves to work. And
that's awesome.
He's actually
He'll go far.
He's got his own little four-wheeler, and he goes out and tools around the farm, and he picks up rocks, and he brings them back to the house out of the fields. The glaciers that went through up there and left a lot of rocks up in their area. And he put them around the barns, he put them around the buildings, he put them around the gardens and the flower beds, and he'd been doing this for several years. And last summer, he had a wagon load, and he told his mom, he said, where are we going to put these? And she said, there's no place left. There's no place left. So she said, I'll put them on the computer, and we'll see if somebody wants to buy them. Well, that spawned a new thing for him. And he started his own business, Tucker's Rocks.
There you go.
And he's going to pay for his college education himself with that business. It keeps going like it is. And to be honest with you, he doesn't care about the money. Yeah. He enjoys the sales when he has them. But the money, he hands it over to mom and dad. They did tell him he could spend a little money if he wanted to, and he got the catalog out, and he's thinking about a side-by-side. He wants a side-by-side, and they're like, no, you
that's a little bit too much money.
Yeah, that's not what we were thinking. And he's like, well, then I think I'm going to get me a pressure washer to wash my rocks. But no, he'll do fine. And he loves to hunt, loves to fish. The little girl, she's the same way. She loves to hunt and fish. We were up here a couple weeks ago, and they were shooting their bows out in the backyard.
Nice.
And they enjoy that. Shooting clay pigeons.
Sounds like he needs a leopard dog.
He does. He does. And it's a commitment when you get a dog.
Mm-hmm.
It's a commitment for the whole family.
It is.
You know, and they're getting to the age now where they're doing a lot of things in the school system. You know, being involved in plays, being involved in sports, and I think that's well rounded, and they need that. They need that. So they have a red bone.
Okay.
And I got that dog from a fella out in Missouri, and that was my plan.
Mm-hmm.
It was a covert operation. I got the dog, and the guy told me, he said, he's a nice dog. He said he doesn't hunt deep enough for me. He said he used to, but he got Lyme's disease, and he doesn't hunt deep anymore. And I said, well, I'd be interested in him, but I'm not interested in a deep hunting dog.
Yeah.
That's not going to suit my purpose. So I went and got him and tried him, and he was a nice dog. So now I'm thinking, how am I going to make this transition, make this dog their dog?
Yeah.
And just so happened, my daughter-in-law called me, and they needed, she said, we're looking for a nice dog, a big dog, just something to have around here, just so UPS drivers and everybody just can't pull into the driveway and hop out, you know. And she said, strangers, you know, anything like that. So I got just a dog for you. So they had actually came down, and my granddaughter and grandson, summertime, hunted with him. And we treated a couple coons that night, you know. So they know what he can do.
Yeah.
Sent him up there, and my daughter-in-law fell in love with him. She made a house dog out of him. Yeah.
That's all right. I'm sure he can still treat a coon.
I'm sure he can. A big broad head on him, big mouth on him, and no UPS drivers walk into the yard.
Yeah.
It was funny how she transitioned him like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're dog people.
Yeah.
It'll happen one of these days.
It'll
happen one of these days. So, yep.
You got anything else to talk about, Perry?
Hey, I think I've taken enough of your time up, and I know you got a long drive ahead of you.
Well, I appreciate you sitting down with me and letting me stop here today on my way home.
I appreciate you stopping by.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talking Media. And until next time, keep 'em talking in the timber.